How far will you watch me burn? The hallway wasn't enough. She wanted him to feel cornered. Exposed. Just like she had, when he confessed that every touch, every whisper, every promise had been part of the game. So she didn't stop at the hallway. She took Dmitri upstairs to the private lounge, the one Jackson used for closed-door meetings. And she left the door cracked open. On purpose. Because Jackson would follow. He always did. Her dress was halfway undone, and Dmitri's hands were greedy. Too greedy. She didn't stop him, not yet. She couldn't feel much anyway. All the numbness wrapped around her like armor, layered beneath her heat and hatred. But her eyes. They searched for him. And there he was. Standing outside the glass partition. Watching. Breathing like a man trying to hold himself together. Good. Delilah pushed Dmitri onto the couch, climbed into his lap. Her fingers curled into his shirt, her lips grazing his throat. Do you want him to see us? Dmitri asked, a little breathless. She didn't answer. Instead, she tilted her head to meet Jackson's stare, cold, distant, barely held in place. Let him feel it. Let him see it. Let him unravel. Jackson didn't move. Didn't blink. But something in his expression so sharp, so calculated began to crack. The emptiness was still there, but now it was tinted with something uglier. Possession. Fury. Jealousy. And beneath it, hurt. Real hurt. That was the part she hadn't expected. Dmitri's mouth grazed her collarbone. Her hand froze. For one moment, just one, her mask slipped. And Jackson saw it. The truth. She didn't want this. Not really. This wasn't power. It was punishment. For both of them. He walked away. Not stormed. Walked. Because that's what monsters did. They didn't fall apart in front of you. They disappeared to fall apart alone. And when the door shut behind him, the ache inside her grew louder than anything Dmitri could touch. Because she'd won the round. But it didn't feel like winning. Chapter 15, A Mirror of Ruin. Delilah kept going. Every day. Every night. Another man. Another party. Another perfect photo leaked just enough to reach Jackson's inbox, his desk, his controlled little empire. She didn't even try to hide it anymore. And neither did the tabloids. Delilah Blake's new flame. Caught again. Who's the man this time? From mysterious to merciless, what happened to the darling of Manhattan? The headlines made her laugh. Because no one saw the truth. Not even the men she touched. Especially not Jackson. He never confronted her. Never sent a message. Never pulled her into some dark room to shout or beg or break. He just watched. Always watched. She'd feel it at every gala, every launch, every high-end lounge, the weight of his eyes across the room. Cold. Quiet. Calculating. But never gone. That was the thing about Jackson Vale. He didn't chase. He waited. And Delilah? She wasn't sure how much longer she could take being the one who ran straight toward the fire. She was with someone new that night. A model. Too young, too eager. Hands all over her like he was trying to prove something. She didn't even know his name. But she kissed him. Hard. Messy. In front of the paparazzi and the window Jackson's penthouse overlooked. She wanted him to see. She wanted him to feel. But the more she tried to make him bleed, the more she was the one being cut. Later, in the dark, she stared at the ceiling. Her skin felt cold where someone else had touched it. Her chest ached from too many lies packed into too small a space. She whispered into the night, to no one. This was supposed to make me feel powerful. Instead, she felt hollow. Like the very game she tried to win was burying her alive. And Jackson? He still hadn't moved. Still hadn't broken. But maybe he didn't have to. Because she was doing it to herself. Chapter 16, Where the Fire Still Lives. She should have felt victorious. That night, she was photographed in the arms of someone famous. Handsome. Dangerous. The type women tripped over to get close to. She wore the most daring dress in the room. Smiled like she ruled the city. And when he kissed her in the elevator, she kissed him back like she meant it. But once the lights dimmed and the heels came off, she lay in bed with mascara-streaked eyes and a weight in her chest she couldn't name. Delilah stared at the ceiling like it owed her an explanation. Why didn't it feel like enough? Why didn't any of them feel like enough? She drifted into sleep bitter, tired, and aching in places no one had touched. And then, he was there. Not in memory. Not in flashback. In a dream so vivid it felt like her skin remembered him before her mind did. Jackson. No mask. No suit. Just his body, pressed flush against hers in a room too dim and quiet to exist outside their world. His hands weren't rushed like the others. They were deliberate. Cruel in how gentle they could be. You've tried to replace me, he murmured, lips brushing her throat. But they don't know what you need, do they? She wanted to lie. But her body betrayed her. She arched into his touch, breath shaky, nails curling into his back like she'd waited forever for him to claim her again. I hate you, she whispered. He smiled. I know. Then he kissed her. And it wasn't sweet. It was desperate. Every time he touched her, it stripped away every other man. Every lie. Every headline. Until it was just the two of them, tangled in a war of heat and memory. And when she shattered beneath him when the sound of her name in his voice wrecked her, she realized. No one else ever made her feel like this. Not even close. She woke up gasping. Sheets tangled. Skin flushed. Pulse out of control. And the ache between her thighs wasn't just from the dream. It was from missing him. Truly, terribly, missing him. Her phone buzzed beside her. A text. From an unknown number. You can sleep with the world, Delilah. But you'll still dream of me. Her fingers trembled. Because no one else knew. No one else could have known. Chapter 17, The Last Checkmate. Delilah couldn't look at herself in the mirror anymore. It wasn't just the dream. It wasn't just the text. It was the quiet truth that followed her like a ghost. Jackson hadn't needed to touch her again to win. He'd already done it. She had been played. Not just in bed. Not just in business. But in her soul. And now she was broken in a way no one could see. Not even herself. That night, the city moved on without her. Parties lit up Manhattan. People drank and danced. Headlines churned and phones buzzed. But she stayed still. She turned off the lights. Put her phone on silent. She poured one last glass of wine, let it spill on the floor. Let her silk robe fall from her shoulders as she sat in the bathtub, knees to her chest, blade in hand. There was no heat left in her. Only the final coldness of surrender. Checkmate, she whispered to no one. You win, Jackson. But he was already running. He'd been watching. He always watched. Ever since that first kiss, that first broken rule, he hadn't stopped watching her. Tracking her. Reading her moves like a grandmaster who had taught her every pattern she thought she'd made her own. So when she went quiet, when the game stopped, when her presence vanished from the party circuit, he knew. And Jacksonville didn't hesitate. He kicked in the door. Glass shattered. Alarms blared. Delilah. No answer. Just the sound of water. The edge of silence. And his heart breaking in his ribs. He found her in the tub. Pale. Still. Blood trailing in soft lines down her arms. No, his voice cracked, panicked, stripped bare of the man he pretended to be. He dropped to his knees. Held her face. Delilah, don't you dare. You don't get to leave me now. Her lashes fluttered. A whisper. Barely a breath. Why did you come? His hands trembled as he held pressure to her wrists. Because you were never the pawn. You were the queen. And I never once played you. You lied, she rasped. Only to protect the truth. What truth? His forehead touched hers. That I've loved you since the first move.